Mercury in Scorpio. Now that's a hot mess we could license to a movie script writer. The first thing I would like to bring to your attention is that Scorpio is very defiant. That's part of its inherent nature. Whereas, on the other hand, Mercury is very cooperative. That's part of its inherent nature. So, we have a basic clash between the planet that's trying to give us cooperation skills being in the sign in which there are no cooperation opportunities available. Instead, Scorpio is giving it defiance opportunities. So what we expect basically as a one-word summary of Mercury in Scorpio is non-cooperation. Now let's put the same basic disharmonious resonance in another term. Scorpio is a very solo or independent or individualistic oriented sign. And Mercury is a very relationship, partnership, together oriented planet. So another disharmonious resonance, or a different way of wording the same one. You have the planet, which is trying to give us our ability to partner and team up with others in a sign that has no resources for that stuff, in a sign that has all kinds of resources for going solo and being your own thing. So what you expect when you see Mercury in Scorpio is a person that's very independence-minded, which means they'll have independence on their mind. They'll be pursuing independence. They'll like independence. They'll also operate in independent ways. So you can expect a Scorpio Mercury native to be an independent thinker. They tend to be unorthodox. They probably won't like dogmas and established religious institutions and things like that. They'll be unorthodox. They'll think in their own ways. They'll come to their own conclusions. They will like to plan out their own future and being in control of their own future. So they don't really like the religious concept of being subordinated to the will of God or gods. They also like to inform themselves and find out things for themselves rather than accepting what other people say. You'll also find that this means that Scorpio Mercury natives, they don't accept what you present them at face value. They try to look behind or underneath to see what the truth is. They expect that the thing at face value is not really true. So Scorpio Mercury natives are very interested in secrets. And they are interested in taboos, things which are not allowed, things which are hidden. They like the occult. Another thing to consider when you're interpreting Mercury in Scorpio is the fact that Scorpio is a super passionate sign. It's probably the most passionate zodiac. Whereas Mercury is the least passionate. Mercury is the most neutral, light, carefree, youthful, prepubescent. So you have a clash between having the planet, which is supposed to give us our neutrality and lightness, in a sign where everything is geared towards being heavy and intense and passionate. So what you can expect if you're looking at a chart with Mercury and Scorpio is that the native is not going to be very neutral. They're going to have strong opinions, strong feelings. You can even say excessive. It's very likely that they're going to have excessive feelings, excessive desires. And of course, we always act on our desires. So they'll get involved in excessive activities. Gambling or taking risks, being risky, will really thrill them. Alcohol or things which intensify or push the ordinary or get rid of boredom will really attract the Scorpio Mercury native. Sex, lots of it, intense versions of it. The wilder the better. That kind of stuff. Excessive recreation, excessive desire. As a result, you will also tend to find classic texts describing Mercury and Scorpio, describing the native as excessive spending, and getting into debt, and perhaps even resorting to thievery since they like things which are taboo. So basically what it means is the Scorpio and Mercury native has excessive habits. So therefore they have excessive expenditure, and they're not particularly careful with their expenses. They spend on whims. They spend a lot, suddenly. So that can land them into some debt. You'll also find another thing in classic texts about this placement is scandals in their relationships and sex life because of the excessiveness in the desire. And one more dissonant resonance between Mercury and Scorpio that I'd like to talk to you about today is the fact that Scorpio is secretive or mysterious, whereas Mercury is revelatory. It discloses information. Mercury is the communicator. So you have the planet of talking in the sign of silence or secret. So you get an interesting clash here. The kind of speech that comes from Mercury and Scorpio is going to have a dichotomy between secrecy and revelation. So in other words, sometimes the way they speak will be misleading. They'll speak secretively, or they'll speak misleadingly, or not revealing things when they speak. And on the other hand, they'll also not know about keeping secrets. On the one hand, they'll sometimes be very secretive about something and not want to reveal something. On the other hand, sometimes they won't give a damn about revealing something that they really should. So their opinion about how stupid you are, for example, or their opinion about how poorly you're dressed, or how you should have combed your hair before you recorded the video, it just comes right out. So the speech indicated by Mercury and Scorpio is both misleading at times and overly blunt at other times. So yeah, Mercury and Scorpio didn't really win the lotto with this placement, did you? Well, not really on its own, but just take heart in a couple of facts. First of all, the nature of the rest of the chart can really determine whether this makes you a really cool person that doesn't really care too much about how other people think of you, so you're able to do your own thing and say things boldly, etc., and be your own thinker, or whether you're just a total jerk. Also, besides the rest of the chart, just Mercury and Scorpio might be in a different degree in Scorpio, so it might have different subsigns depending on what we call the Vargas, or the Amshas, more appropriately, of the sign, the parts of the sign. And so Mercury at every degree of Scorpio is not equally stressed out. But in this video, I'm just showing you the basic nature of Mercury and Scorpio as a theoretical concept, and I hope that helps you understand the basic dynamic. Now, what we do in these videos with the planets and the signs is I show you a consistent technique that you can use for any planet and any sign. And the technique is very simple. You look for where the planet symbolizes something that's very, very similar to what the sign symbolizes. And once you find that, you assess whether or not the planet and the sign are harmonious about that thing, or whether they're antithetical about that thing. The dissonant resonance reveals what's complex or difficult for the native. The harmonious resonance, on the other hand, indicates what's easy, what comes natural, what's an inherent strength for the native. What I'm teaching you really is the method of how to do astrological interpretation by going down into the engine of the symbolism and comparing the parts. The actual interpretation that you should give is going to be individualized per the individual chart. So if you have person A with the moon in Scorpio and person B with the moon in Scorpio, it's not going to be exactly the same interpretation, because
person B's moon might have an aspect from something, and person A moon doesn't, etc., 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 etc. But what I'm showing you in the videos is the backbone of what a planet in a sign symbolizes. And once you understand that backbone, you modify it based on the circumstances, the extraneous circumstances that are affecting an individual chart. So I hope you really like this system, not just this one video, but all the videos that we do on the planets and the signs. We'll do them all. And I hope you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those. And I hope to see you around soon. Thank you.